tell you what.
Nice. Always love that sound. It's music to my ears right there.
Yeah.
What you just open?
I'm into like real expensive beer, so this one is a Miller Lite.
Solid. Oh man. All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of the Chondro Lounge, and I'm excited for tonight. Chuck, I wanted to just give you a shout out on episode 10.
Thank you.
You absolutely killed it. I watched the whole episode. It was a great episode. It was nice to be able to actually like be on my drive and listen to my podcast without me on there, because I can never like listen to myself talk.
Yeah.
It was really cool to just sit back and listen. It was a great episode.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so for tonight, man, I'm excited. You got us hooked up with Lupe with Space City Chondros.
Yeah,
and
good friend of mine.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into this one. So before I even like talk about kind of what we want to focus on the episode, we'll bring up his Instagram to show you. But Chuck, are those red Neos he produced not some of the most outlandish, non-traditional, like the weirdest chondro babies that you've seen produced?
Yeah, they're the second clutches out there. They're unbelievable.
Yeah,
there's like yellowish tiger stripes going down the sides of some of them. They are variable, but they got just, I mean, the dorsals just bleed out already in the neonate pattern.
Yeah, no, they're insane. And you know how I am with yellow diamonds, and some of the babies he has are insane. So, but yeah, I what I really want to talk to him about, Lupe with Space City Chondros, one thing that we've talked about on this podcast pretty often, Chuck, is how easy they are to keep, but breeding is a whole different story, right?
Yeah.
And then Lupe decides to come out here and say, hey, on my first season, I'm gonna have 3 clutch. So I find that so incredible and fascinating. And I just kind of want to hear his story on how he prepared, what he learned, what his methods are, and how he was able to, in his first season, have 3 successful clutches. So I think it's going to be cool to talk about.
Yeah, he's a good dude. You're definitely gonna have to do a lot of the lead questions here, because I talk to Lupe so often that it's almost it's tough to talk to somebody on the podcast and ask them questions that they would answer, with information that I know, but
right?
Nobody else does. So it's almost like a staged kind of thing. The questions I got to ask them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want you to deepen the conversation with your X-ray guns and all that good stuff, and the good technical questions that you ask. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into this one. But hey, before we jump in, I know that this is the first time that we are actually pulling this up with our podcast, but we want to give a shout out to Cold Blooded Cafe. They are now a sponsor of the entire Reptile Lounge network. That includes us over here with the Chondro Lounge, as well as the Retic Lounge. Guys, if you are looking for the best quality rodents that you can find right now in the US and get them shipped to your door, use Cold Blooded Cafe. They also have quails, they have pigs, they have rabbits, quail eggs. A lot of those more niche, unique stuffs come and go. So make sure that you order them quick. And because you are listening to this podcast and part of the family, you guys can use code Reptile Lounge 20 for 20% off on your order, which, Chuck, I don't know about you, but typically when I order rodents, especially with retics, my rodent order is $700 to $1,000 sometimes at a time, and 20%. I'd love $200 off. So,
yeah, that's substantial.
Yeah. All right, Chuck, you got anything else before we jump on and bring Lupe on?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I guess just to update the listeners, if you haven't seen on my Instagram, the clutch has hatched.
Ooh, clutch is on the ground. It hatched, and dude, they look nice.
They do. A lot of really good feedback on the clutch, as you know, and you've said yourself, it's for the people. So quite a few, if not almost all will be available for sale to spread throughout the community. 19 out of 21 hatched out, and they all look great. So,
Do you mind sharing what happened with the other two?
yeah, I don't know if you remember, but we were talking as the clutch was incubating, and maybe a few weeks before the expected hatch date, I had said one does not look like the others. Started denting really early, and I went in there. It started sweating a little bit. It was either I suspected either a neo moving around trying to get out, or the more likely answer would be that it died early and was now starting to kind of decay or whatever. But I cut it open on day 52 maybe, and it was dead in the egg. And then also on day 52, I had one cut itself out completely with the egg tooth, crawled out almost immediately as soon as it pipped. And I was on the phone with my father. I'm like, that one's not going to make it. He's like, why? It's strong. It came out. I'm like, nah, it's just not, it's not good when they do that. And it died maybe 2 hours later. So
did it have that sad, just head hanging out the egg where it pipped?
No, it came out. Or it was crawling around.
Oh, okay.
It just came out. I mean, I don't know why. I just had a feeling. I had one do that with my very first clutch, and that one died. So,
yeah. I mean, I know with retics, I see some snakes get out of the egg, and I see them moving around. You could just tell by the way that they move, or when you pick them up, you could just tell by their strength that they're just not gonna, that they won't last. But yeah, man, I'm excited. The clutch looks great. I know that I was really hoping there'd be some solid stripes. I'm not sure if you hit any, but I did see some that looked a little interlocking that kind of have some connectedness. And then one thing that I was keeping an eye on when you showed the video of all of them perched up, there's about 5 of them that are a very different shade of yellow than the others.
Are you talking about the orangish color going from the back of the head down? Yeah. There's quite a few of them, and they, what happened with the last clutch from this female was there was one baby that looked like that in the beginning, and then it turned into that blaze phase neo that I had.
Nice.
And that one is actually in the center cage.
Okay.
That's the only one I kept was the blaze phase because I really liked it. So I hope there's a couple blazes. I mean, not that it really affects the adult colors, but
it's just cool to see, though.
Yeah, it's neat to have a brown stripe going down the back of a yellow neo.
I love yellow neos, but one of the thing about red neos is they go through a little bit more of a drastic OCC. But when you get a yellow that goes through a blaze phase, it's just as exciting as a red neo to watch change.
Yeah, because it's the first color change you'll see in a life stage of any neo is the blaze that I've seen. Some of them come out from people's eggs, but I noticed that mine colored up almost.
Yeah.
But like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with the adult color. It's just really neat to have a blaze phase neo for a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited to see how they mature, and keep us posted throughout the episodes on how they're taking their first meals.
Yeah, I'm going to be separating them here in a couple days. I'm just waiting for my purchase to come in. But I ended up, just in case they don't come in time, because I think that they're going to start to go opaque in the next couple days. I got some of that green construction fencing that they use for Amazon tree bows.
Yeah.
Just as a I guess a crutch for a couple days so I can get them separated before they start shedding.
Yeah, it's almost like you weren't expecting eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to plan ahead.
Oh, man. All right, let's go ahead and bring Lupe on. Whether you've poured your heart and soul into your reptile business or you've just begun your business journey, AE Foundry has you covered with next-level expertise in graphic design, motion graphics, videography, photography, and so much more. If you've been dying for a new logo for your reptile business, motion graphics for your current logo, a new website, or need assistance making your video podcast come to life, then listen carefully. AE Foundry's mission places storytelling at its core. AE Foundry believes that a distinctive story and background are the driving forces that set your brand apart. In today's market, consumers seek more than just products. They crave a connection built on trust with the brands they cherish. AE Foundry is committed to empowering small businesses and fostering authenticity that resonates with their consumers. Reach out to them and let them help you craft a visual narrative that helps establish a genuine and lasting connection with your audience. To contact AE Foundry, email them at aromero@aefoundry.com or on Instagram at AE Foundry. What's good, man?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm going to take this hoodie off. I'm sweating.
Lupe, man, I'm glad that you're here. I know that you had made some arrangements to do this and kind of forgot, and you canceled hunting trips, and that means a lot to me. I know we were talking about that before, but it's awesome to have you on.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the invite and glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. I know that Chuck and you talk quite a bit, but I know that we've talked at Bills for a little bit and everything, but this is really going to be like my Lupe 101. Like I'm going to dive in and really get to know that your whole story. So if you don't mind, I kind of want to start there. Do you mind just kind of sharing, briefly going over where your fascinations of reptiles started, when that started, animals that you kept, and then really what drove you into getting chondros and take us into that whole segment?
I can remember as being a young boy, like in chasing around like those little brown grass snakes, catching those, putting those things in jars and keeping them for a day or whatever, and then letting them go. But yeah, I've always been into, I guess you could say, snakes. I never was into many like other lizards or anything. But I remember being into snakes as a young boy, catching them in the grass, releasing them and whatnot. And I think of my first actual reptile, though, was a green iguana that I had probably, I don't know, a year or so. And this was when I was like, I'm not sure, maybe late junior high, was my first reptile. Kept it for a little while and ended up passing. I didn't have the correct husbandry and whatnot, so it didn't last very long. And then I got a ball python in 2000 when I was living in San Antonio. Kept that for a couple years and ended up passing as well. I got into boas in around 2017, 18, kept those. And then I started seeing green tree pythons everywhere. And I went to some shows. I always went to shows and I was looking for green tree pythons, but what I saw, I never liked. They were always just scrawny, small, kept in these weird cages, and you could see the mites on them. And I was just like, nah, I'm not going to get it, but I saw it and that's what I wanted. And ended up pulling the trigger on one that was on Morph Market. And I believe it came from, I think it came from Windy City. So that was my first, it was a Cyclops. And that was my first one back in late 2019 was when I first started buying Chondros.
Was it a long-term captive or wild caught, or was it CBB?
No, I'm pretty sure it was an import.
Okay, cool.
It came as a Neo, but it was an import.
Okay. And that was around...
I wouldn't say Neo, about a yearling, but it definitely an import.
What year was that?
Late 2019, I would say. Okay,
cool. So, I mean, you've been keeping them only about 5 years.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. I feel like that same thing happened to me when I was a kid and growing up. One of my first reptiles as well was a green iguana. Didn't die. It was just an asshole. So we rehomed it. It's crazy what like some parents are just like, yeah, sure. And then, the pet store tells you like, oh no, they're great. All you need to do is put a light bulb on top of its enclosure and just put these little digital thermometers in there and make sure it reads this. Right. Cause I mean, my parents, were, they said yes to me having a berm when I was 8 years old.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. They were just like that. They were probably just like, yeah, as long as this kid shuts up, because once, I mean, I'm even this way now as an adult. Once I want something, like I got my mind set on it. And so I'm curious for you, when you got into the chondros and you got your first chondro, what was that experience like? Was it everything that you had hoped for? Did you have any struggles, any issues?
I didn't really have any struggles, any issues. I was keeping it in a, an exoterra glass thing. And, I thought it was the coolest looking thing because you could see through it, see the animal and whatnot. And it just, it was always grounding itself for some reason, so I was like, what's going on? So I started doing some, research on what the correct husbandry was and, what was I doing wrong. And I I think I ended up getting a second one. There was a Neo, and when I picked it up at the UPS place, I ran into this guy. He actually is from Houston, and he breeds ball pythons. And we both drove Jeeps at the time, so we kind of like clicked, started talking outside of the FedEx place. And he invited me over to come check his collection, and he gave me a bunch of these gecko PVC cages. So I ended up bringing them home, taking them apart, and building myself an actual PVC cage for the snake to, I guess, a better enclosure for, not the Exoterra. So I took all this stuff apart, built it a fucking cage, and it was awesome, man. It had a really nice cage and everything. But it took off from there, though, man. I ended up getting a second one probably like 2 months later, I would say.
Yep.
I think that was from Ian Bezel. That was actually a captive bred. I think it was a Biot crossed with like a mystery or something like that. But it came from Ian, and it was a yellow neonate. And then from there, dude, I think within a year, I probably had 5 or 6.
I feel like, man, that is so relatable.
Once you get the first one, man, it really takes off from there.
I mean, it's September now. I got my first Chondro last September, and I think I got like 8.
You have 8 now?
Yeah.
In a year?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
But it's unfair. I got I got the retake money that I'm selling babies. Like I got snake. Like I'm selling snakes, so I'm bringing snakes in, and And once I found out how easy they were to keep with my first experience, I was like, why not?
I mean, if you do your research and keep them, fairly simple, they're not very hard animals to keep.
Yeah. What was that experience like for you as far as keeping them in that husbandry aspect? Because I can imagine you probably prepped for keeping them, or at least looked into it a little bit. And were you nervous at all about keeping them?
Nervous? No, probably not. I was more, I guess, just afraid of getting bit based on their bad reputation. That's
Dude,
what I was more scared of, I guess you could say.
I'm still afraid to get bit by them. Like I'll reach into my 12-foot retix cage, no problem. But man, my importer Roo female, she's like, I don't know, 3 feet maybe, or 3.5 feet. And I'm terrified to go in her enclosure.
I mean, I'm still scared to get bit now when they're awake and I need to go in there. I'll give them a quick spray, so they turn away and leave me alone. I'm not trying to get bit, but
I hate getting bit, bro. I always get nailed right on the knuckle too. It always goes. It's terrible.
Right now, it's always by the little ones, trying to move them around and get the water bowl out, and so the little ones ain't too bad. So
it sucks getting smoked by an adult.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only been bit once by an adult, so it wasn't too bad.
I had one bite my wrist, and the one vein here, the tooth blew the vein out. It went in one side and out the other, and I had this little pea-sized. Yeah, it was like a bubble, and it hurt so bad, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. But not long after I bought a couple, like I told you, I was going back and forth to shows. I ran into Focus Cube. So they were vending or something at a show, and I ended up buying a 24 cube at the show for the snake. So then once I found out where they were located, it was a lot easier to get enclosures for my animals that I was getting in. So
you're in the Houston area?
Yeah, I'm right outside of Houston and Katy.
Okay, cool.
So West Houston, out the west side of Houston.
Okay. So now let me, I guess, we'll go into this part. I'm curious. I'm going to pull up your Instagram real quick. But I want to talk a little bit about just what you have now. I'm going to go through your pictures. Obviously a lot of them are babies you have, but there's some adults and everything. And I guess what I would like for you to do as I'm going through your Instagram, if I have any questions on animals or we do, we'll do that. But, I guess at one point, did you start realizing okay, I'm gonna try to breed them, and then once you kind of have that idea in mind, what directions you started to take? What did you what was the plan in mind? All that good stuff.
Well, when I first started buying, it wasn't the plan to breed. It was kind of just to keep them. I didn't think about, or I guess consider breeding them till after a couple of years, to be honest. So when I decided I was going to start breeding them, I was trying to acquire, honestly, as many animals as I could, whether they were US. I didn't try to buy too many imports, but I tried to buy a lot of, captive bred, what I could afford at the time. There wasn't a lot. So I was buying, stuff I could afford. But, eventually got adult money, and started buying, these higher dollar snakes. That particular one, I think, is a John Irby snake right there.
I'm a big fan of the yellow diamonds, and these being washed apple with that color of blue and a little bit of the black there, it looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a male from John Irby from the Sophie cross with one of his males he uses quite often. I'd have to look at the card.
Banjo?
Not Banjo, no.
So Frostbite is one of them, right?
Let me grab the card 1 sec. Wrangler cross with Sophie.
I guess I'm curious, like, as I'm going through these pictures and everything, I mean, I'm loving seeing that blue hue in a lot of your animals, and the wash that's coming up. But, when you started, just like you mentioned, like buying as many animals as you can.
Yeah, I wasn't buying like specific, like, let's say blue line or calicos like I have now. I was kind of just buying whatever I could afford. And I guess eventually, after doing more research and looking online and seeing other people's snakes, I kind of leaned more towards, I was like, okay, I want to do this blue line stuff. This is what I want to try and breed, I guess you could say. So I started, looking at people who were selling blue line animals, like Dave D and John Irby and just other people who had blue lines that were selling them. So I started reaching out to those guys and seeing what I could acquire. So I think some of the first blue line ones I got were the two VV brothers from Dave D, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not a bad start.
What's Christian Stewart's animal? Is that a calico?
Correct. Yeah, it's a calico.
Is that this one up here? That's freaking phenomenal.
No, that's a calico as well, but that is from the Splash line.
Okay.
And that's a male that came from TSK.
Okay. So, go ahead. So it seems like at first you were buying what you can, but once you started getting a little bit more serious and you said kind of getting some adult money, you realized you wanted to like kind of really focus in on some blue line stuff.
Well, yeah, more of the blue line / designer stuff is what I wanted to do. I looked at all of Stiegel stuff, I've just saw all the design, what designer stuff can do, and produce. So I was like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to do locality / make some green animals. I want to make some really nice blue stuff with some black speckling. And so, I started leaning towards more of the designer animals and trying to get a hold of what I could designer wise.
While he's scrolling, why don't you, Lucas, if you're okay with it, can you explain to us the 3 clutches you produce? Can you go through the sire and the dam to each clutch? And maybe we can locate it on your page.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, clutch 1 was a VV male crossed with a BRC female, and the BRC was a Jason Brumley. He was out of Texas as well. I don't believe he houses or keeps anymore, but I acquired that female secondhand. It didn't come straight from Jason. It actually came from somebody else. But that was the first pairing I did.
Is that this right here?
No, that's the second clutch.
Okay.
The first clutch was only 4 babies. You just passed it. It was all 3 of them were like within a month of each other. So they're all kind of close. That picture right there, that one, that's the first clutch.
How many eggs did you get out of that?
I got 17, but only 5 came out alive. And I lost a lot of eggs just to mold. I mean, I spoke a lot with you about it during the process, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, like I believe it was due to the water droplets possibly getting them wet and molding them. I mean, that was one thing I didn't pay attention to very much on the first clutch.
What at what stage did it, yeah, even this little survivor, but at what stage did the eggs start molding?
Oh man, I didn't write that down, but I had a couple start molding within the first like 2 weeks, or I would say. And I lost a lot after like day 40. I remember that. I lost
Damn.
quite a few after like day 40. They were just started
Okay.
going bad and just molding, getting that white, fluffy cotton candy looking shit on it, you know?
I found that the white stuff's not bad, but once it starts to turn colors and you get the like that orangish reddish mold, it's like pink or red or orange, and then the green shit's bad too.
Yeah, I also in my observation as well, like you know, from it's a little different with the timeline with other pythons that incubate longer than green tree pythons, but the ones that die real quickly are typically the ones that aren't fertile, or the ones that don't have you know, strong embryos, and they go real quick.
I candled all 17 eggs. All 17 eggs had veins. Now I wouldn't say all 17 eggs had a really strong veins, but they all had veins. I think I lost a lot. It was due to neglect, just not paying attention to the water. And, you know, if it was falling on there, I just wasn't noticing. And not one time that I wiped the damn lid on that thing.
Oh, yeah. You know, you were on the phone with me. I was like, hey, did you wipe the lid?
You know, it was my first clutch. I was trying to keep from opening that incubator, you know. I mean, I didn't mess with them at all. You know, I'd look through the window and check them out, but I never once opened the incubator to like wipe the lid on that. And that was probably a mistake I made. I talked a lot with Chuck about it. And I mean, it was my fault. You know, I just didn't pay attention to it. And
yeah, but you say that you don't know if there's eggs.
Yeah, I can't say 100% that was it, but you know.
And at the end of the day, man, it's live and learn.
You know, I did that. I kept a good eye on that on the second and third clutch, and I lost one out of each clutch on that one. You know, incubated everything the exact same temperature, same time.
Dude, this has got to be one of my favorite Neos I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'll go on to that's a second clutch, one from a second clutch, and my second clutch was another VV male, crossed with a GG female from my House of Blue.
Man,
and I think I got 16 eggs from that one. One went bad within the first maybe 3-4 days. It just it got that real stinky mold where it gets wet and, you know, molded where it got wet and sweaty.
It smells like a swamp. It smells like sewage.
It stunk bad.
You were gagging. Wait, were you? I was on the phone with you for that one. You were throwing.
I gagged on that thing, dude. When I grabbed it out, I was like, "Holy shit!" Yeah. But anyways, had 16, lost one, so there was 15 in there. All 15 went the distance. One of them was dead in the egg, so 14 hatched out.
Bro, this is the clutch right here, and you know, it doesn't get that much darker.
There's every extreme. Super highly patterned white diamonds, yellow diamonds, super reduced.
Dude, that clutch came out really, really nice.
Jeez.
I love those babies.
No kidding. And please tell me you didn't sell a single one.
I've actually let go of a couple.
Damn.
Yeah, I've let go of a couple so far. And
brave man.
I might let go of a couple more, but it ain't gonna be for a little bit. But I got at least
you 9. Got my ears perked.
I got at least 9 to 10 that I'm gonna hold back till a year and a half or so.
Yeah, rightfully so, man. Let them go through a good, vast, you know, crazy color change and see what you want to.
And the ones that started eating off the bat from clutch 2, dude, they're beasts, dude. Like, I mean, they're freaking huge. They definitely got that GG genes in them that are just ginormous ass snakes.
Yep. So take us into your third pairing. What was your third pairing?
The third pairing was actually tried my calico male with a sickness sibling for about a month and a half. Never saw any locks from him with her. They were always just, he would court her and be all over her. Just nothing would happen. They just, separate eventually. So I ended up taking him out, trying my Garrick male in there, the GG male. And the first night he was locked with her. So the third clutch is a GG male with a Bill Stiegel female, which is a sickness sibling, not a direct sibling. It's the same pairing on a different,
and I don't know if this is me just obsessing over Bill's stuff. And I have now 1, 2, 3 animals that come from Jaeger sickness lineage in my collection. And, when I was going through and I pulled this up, I was seeing some of the yellow diamonds that were coming through, and I was like, this kind of looks like some of Bill's stuff. And then you had mentioned that. So it's,
there's definitely some sickness blood in there.
Yeah, dude, beautiful clutch. What was the
this particular
15 eggs?
clutch, there was 15 eggs. 14 came out alive. 1 was dead in the egg on this one as well.
Okay. Geez, the extremes that you produce in that second clutch are
crazy,
amazing, dude.
I can't wait to see these OCC on these things, man.
Bro, feed them more, man. Get them going. No, I'm excited to really check them out. You posted some on your story today. As a matter of fact, let me flick through. Were those recent pictures?
Those were all taken today. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to give you guys an update on what some of them are looking like right now. And yeah, I mean, they look
I
absolutely.
Almost let go of that one right there.
This one is nuts.
Yeah, they all are. That one.
Yeah, that's right up my alley, man. Oh man. All right. Let me get us back in here real quick. We'll drool some more later. But you started off with as you started like getting into the breeding aspect of things, you really just started selecting some very quality, like great animals for you to be able to set yourself up in your first season to all 3 of those pairings and the lineage and the information of the animals and what they are. Not a single one of them was an average pairing at all. Great bloodlines that you bought into. I'm curious, like you mentioned some of the blue line stuff, but I also see that you have that really high green yellow calico and everything. Do you have any idea of like a like when you see yourself in 5-10 years, I guess, like what are you mainly wanting to work with and work on? What do you want to cross things into? Like what's any strategy, or are you just having fun and putting crazy things together?
I'd like to stick with just, I guess, the designer blue line and calico. I mean, I'm speaking with a person right now at acquiring another calico. It's not a for sure thing yet, but we're talking back and forth right now. But just blue line and calico if I could. I mean, I'm keeping a lot of the second clutch I did holdbacks for future breeding, Hopefully I can get quite a few females out of whatever I keep back and breed some of that stuff back to, the VV father or something and see what I can get out of that.
Right. I like to hear you say on your first season how many animals that you're keeping back and holding back, because I had that same thought process in mind to really want to hold back a lot of animals really early on. And the more and more people that I talk to, the more and more I hear people recommending that. But I feel like if you're trying to establish something nice and you got a lot of nice neos that come out, like as a new breeder, if you're trying to like enhance each time that that you're continuing to breed, I feel like it's important to hold those animals back.
How many neos did you produce? Like established now?
Hold on. 28 plus 4, 32?
32, correct. I had 32 as of about a week ago. I had to put one down, so I got 31 right now. But yeah, I got 32 total. 31 now. About 11 of those gave me the run for my money, though. Like, they wouldn't eat, and just runners and whatnot. And I had to assist feed 11 of them to get them going. But everybody's eating on their own now, off the tongs, just presenting, grabbing, they're wrapping, eating. So, but let's see. I got 14. I've sold 2 out of that one. So I got 12. I might release 2 more. So I'm definitely going to keep back at least. Oh, well, the one I put down was out of the second clutch, unfortunately. So I did lose 1 more out of that one. Okay. But I believe I have. Give me 1 second. I'll actually count for you.
You need me to take my socks off? You got that many?
As of right now, I have 18 picked out that I'm gonna hold on to out of the 32 or 31. Sorry,
that's fair.
And majority of them are the second clutch.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, you had a lot of nice, dark, bright yellow patterns. Some reduced from the third clutch as well. I almost feel like on that first clutch with only 4, it'd be a little sentimental. I'd just be like, I'm gonna keep you all until
I kept 2 out of there. The other 2 will be going. I kept 2 of them out of that one. I'm definitely gonna keep a little bit out of each one and grow them up, see their progress. And if I don't like the way it's going, I guess I'll just, let it go as a yearling or as a sub-adult later.
Yeah, I hope for my sake, all 12 of your second clutch are males.
Right. Just exactly.
That's why, huh?
Every single one. I hope it's
bro. Those are nice enough. Those are nice enough males where you send a female out to him.
Man, if I could get the 9 out of them, if I can get a 50-50, or 1-to-1, I would keep all 9 of them. None of them would go nowhere,
Hence the reason why I hope they're all male. So I can get one.
I mean, if they're all male, I definitely had to release a few, So.
Do you though?
I mean, I don't have to, but I probably would. I probably would.
Oh man, Chuck, I'm right there with you, buddy. Like I feel like I'm 5 steps ahead of you with the idea of thinking about getting a male.
I mean, there's so many males available out there. It's crazy though, man. Like almost every snake I've seen posted that are really, really nice. I've seen that Adler snake posted and a few other. Everything's males, So, and there's seems to be a lot of males out there.
That's a good problem to have.
Yes, it is.
Especially if you plan to. So let me ask you this: you have any plans to take any of this stuff into some of the coolest things that can be produced is when people take some badass designer selectively bred stuff, phenotype stuff, and they take it into locality stuff. There's something about like a crazy looking Biak or a Highland Wamina type that first generation pairing. You look at what created the sickness, and that was Jaeger to a Wamina, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, do you have any plans? What locality animals do you have?
I don't have no locality animals. So I have one that's a blue line cross with a Biak that I got from, or that came, or I wouldn't say came, that Mark Hager produced. I bought it from somebody else, but Mark Hager produced it, and it's a blue line with a Biak. But that's the only locality I have. I mean, if you want to call the Garrick animals locality crosses, I guess, because they're Manakwari, Wamena, and Jayapura.
Right.
I mean, I have no straight locality though that's Wamena or a Biak or anything like that. I have nothing like that. Everything.
So you're just straight up designer all out.
Yeah, everything in my collection is pretty much mixed / mutts, I guess you could say.
Right. I mean, mutts, I feel like is the Ryan Young term to use. That's a little strong.
That's why I was saying it for Ryan Young. But yeah, everything's mixed designer.
That's a good foundation. I was looking through your Instagram. I saw that you had a really nice dorsal striped white scaled Aru. You don't have that animal anymore?
No, that actually is on a breeding loan or permanent breeding loan, I guess you could say, to Brian Latimer.
Okay, cool.
So and he actually he just hatched a clutch with her recently.
Oh, what's her name? What's her name?
What are you talking about?
The Chondro's name.
Jules.
Jules. There we go. Okay, yeah. She looked familiar. Yeah, I love what he's doing with the high white stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny. He posted up an animal that has a bunch of blue with some white on it, and I messaged him about it. He's like, it just has too much blue, and I'm like, dude, you're the only person I know that would say that, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian for that clutch, and congrats to Chuck as well, man. That's a great clutch, dude.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
19 you ended up with. Damn,
that's a lot, man.
It's a good clutch right there.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of poop.
Dude,
So
Chuck and I were talking.
None of them have shed yet, right? You said?
No, not yet. I'm gonna go check in there tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be an opaque one or two, so I'll be snipping.
Are they still together in the incubator?
Yeah, I keep them together for a little while. It's been a week now.
I do the same thing. I keep all my snakes together until they start shedding. Once they shed, I put them in their individual tub. But Chuck and I were talking today. We're doing this video last minute. I got to edit and turn this video around within, a day and a half to get it out Monday to do it. Me and Chuck were just both talking about how we're both busy as hell. And I didn't want to be the asshole, but I guess I'll be the asshole now. But I was thinking in my head as we were talking, Chuck, I was like, dude, you just got 19 Neos. You haven't even started feeding trials yet, and you think you're busy.
I know. I got those 2 houses going to closing on the 30th. I got the clutch to deal with. I'm sending snakes out. I got 3, 4. I have 5 adults coming, but I'm only going to be taking 4 right now. So I got a lot of shit happening.
Dude, at least with Chondros, man, it could be a lot busier and worse when it comes to getting some adult animals.
Yeah, these are all coming from captive collections. I'm not getting any fresh imports.
Sweet.
Excuse me, Dan Mallory. I'm getting one from him, but that's not like a fresh import. He treats them. What were you gonna say?
They're all adults you're getting?
Yeah. 3 adult females and 2 adult males.
Gotcha. Okay.
Females.
You want to talk a little bit more about them?
Yeah, let me hear something about them. We're clear about it.
I think the females are all 6 to 8 years old. One is a red Neo Biak, one's a yellow Neo Jayapura, and one is a red Neo Jaya.
Nice.
The red Neo Jayapura. No, I'm very lucky to be getting that. And then I have possibly, it's a good possibility, but it's red Cyclops male coming in, adult breeder size, and then that really high yellow Biak that it's coming from Dan Mallory. That's on he's got like an 8-minute video of all green tree pythons. It's the very first one in the video.
I hit him up about it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care what sex that snake is, I'm gonna buy it if it's still available. And this is probably a month after he posted everything, and I ended up I had to follow through with my deal to myself, so I bought it.
Might as well.
We don't know. It's the pattern's like gone. We can't he can't figure out what Neo color it was. I can't figure it out.
I mean, my the one that I got from Dan is probably, roughly like about 2 years old. And it's holding on to some blues and the diamonds. And I bought it as a red Neo, but was talking to Patrick about it and just looking at it myself, it has so much yellow that it's retaining and everything. It really can go either way, yellow or red. But at the end of the day, even if it's a yellow Neo, it actually might even work out for my advantage with the Rue Biak crosses, because it's holding on to some of that blue and it's got a lot of white speckling coming in. So I think it's going to be a perfect animal for my male Rue.
That's what's up.
Yeah, Chuck, did you go through all 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I went through them all. Yeah, and then I have one Neo coming that's already born, and one Neo coming that hasn't been born yet.
I feel like that's something that I would do too.
Yeah.
Lupe, let's jump into like your husbandry methods. I want to. And the goal with this is to jump into like how you're currently keeping your husbandry outside of breeding season. And then, we'll start to segue into what you're doing to cycling and breed, because again, the fact that in your first year of breeding, you had females lined up and you nailed it on all 3 clutches. And, sure, the first one, there was some user error. But at the end of the day, phenomenal for our first season of Chondros. That's like a home run in my books. But let's get into
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year for sure. I mean, shit. I mean, if anything, that one clutch that you produced might be clutch of the year. But yeah, let's go into your husbandry. How are you keeping them? How are you heating them? What temperatures? All that good stuff.
I mean, I keep it pretty simple. I mean, I keep them in the Expanse, or my adults, I keep in the Expanse focus cubes. Use puppy pad substrate, a big water bowl, and daytime temps at 84, and it drops down to 78 at nighttime. That's the way I keep the adults, very simple. Maybe one artificial plant hanging in each one, and that's about it. Males, I usually feed about once every 3 to 4 weeks. This is not during breeding. This is, just normal year. Females about every 2 to 3 weeks. And I guess if you want to go into cycling and breeding, I'm actually going to start cycling very soon. As of next week, I'll start cycling. But
real quick, how do you what heating method are you using?
I have the what are the black heat panels called? Not Pro
Reptile Basics.
Yeah, Reptile, the Vivarium? Are they Vivarium?
Yeah,
Vivarium. Yeah, the Vivarium electronic heat panels in all of them. Actually, I do all my male cages. I switched them to the Will Banks ones, the really small, thinner looking ones.
How do you like them?
They work exactly the same, man. I mean, I haven't had a problem at all.
They are quite pricey for the size. That's the thing.
I'm using the exact same wattage. I think these are 40 watt, and that's the same ones I'm using in the male cages, and they're just so much smaller.
They're tiny.
Yeah, they're small, and they produce the same amount of heat.
That's pretty cool.
And it gives them a larger, cooler side as well, since that panel is so much smaller. It doesn't take up half the cage. Mm-hmm. It's actually in one small corner, and that's it. So I like the size of it. I mean, I got mine at the Reptile show and made deals with him, be like, hey, I'll pay you cash for, 3 of them, gives me like $30 off of each one. So that's where I go get mine at.
Let me ask you this. Before we get into the breeding stuff, how are you housing and how are you heating? What are you doing with your younger animals?
The Neos?
Yeah, Neos, and then your grow-ups, 1 year old. I'm assuming you're not putting a 1 year old in a 30-inch cage.
No. You can see all the Neos. Those are what's that guy's name?
Recoil?
No, damn it. Anyways, they're all 6-quart tub racks.
Sea serpents, Chris?
Sea serpent, yes, Chris. I couldn't think of his name. So they're all sea serpent racks. Even the incubators are sea serpent as well. But I keep those on straight 84. I don't do temp night drops on the Neos right now. But a paper towel, small water bowl, and that's it. Nothing, very simple. Just paper towel, water bowl, and the perch.
Nothing do you have like that step up size?
I do. Well, I have those. I don't know if you can see those cages right there. I have those cages, and then I do have a rack that I built myself that holds 12-quart tubs, and then I have another rack I built myself that holds the Cambro 12 by 9 by whatever, same ones that Focus uses for their 6-tub rack or whatever it is.
Yeah, the hangers.
The hangers, correct. Yes. Yeah. So I built one of those myself too that uses those particular tubs to grow them up to, you could probably keep them up in there to about 2 years old if you needed to.
Right.
So, but yeah, I have enough room after all said and done to house about 12 of them. So some of these will be leaving eventually.
It's good to know.
Keep on talking.
Yeah.
Bond.
Yeah, after the 6-quart tub ones, I'll move either to those right there, or I got those other ones outside that I just need to clean up and bring inside. And they all have back heat with a little LED strip around them, so they have a little backlight as well.
Okay, cool.
I built all that stuff myself. Just went and bought the PVC myself and cut it and built it.
Do you spray them?
What do you mean spray my animals?
So like, yeah.
Usually only when they're in shed.
Okay.
Yeah, only when they're in shed do I spray them.
Yeah, I asked that intentionally because I feel like a lot of people feel they need to do that very often, and the more and more people I talk, and even the experience that I'm doing in my garage, I'm spraying way less frequently than I used to, yeah, again, I feel like there's this like idea that it needs to be wet in there, or like 100% humidity at all times, and very far from that.
Yeah, I spray only when they're in shed, and I try not to spray only the neos directly. I don't like to spray the neos directly when they're in shed. I will spray the adults directly when they're in shed, but the neos I try to avoid. I'll give them a little mist, but I don't soak them down.
How come?
I killed a neo when I first started doing that. I sprayed it too much, and it developed water blisters and died.
Okay, fair.
So I learned my lesson.
Right?
And try to just, as long as the enclosure is, moist, and it'll have no problem, with hydration and shedding. So,
right. Okay. And as far as neos go, like the babies that you hatched out and are raising right now, what's your feeding regimen for them? And I guess I'm curious when it comes to, getting them established, what method you used.
Okay, well, getting them established, I used Pinky with chick down. Some of them didn't eat chick down, some of them did. The ones that refused, that I had to assist, I was going straight to chicken gizzards. It was just easier for me to use chicken gizzards during assist feeding. But as far as feeding regimen, the ones that are a little smaller, that took a little longer to get going, I do one once every 4 to 5 days. The ones that started eating on their own and now are on fuzzies, I'm doing once a week, once every 7 days.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I kind of want to go back to egg incubation if we've already passed that subject, unless we're coming up to it.
No, we're coming up to breeding here in a bit, but if you want to jump in.
No, keep on going.
You sure?
Yeah, my mind was, I have a bouncy ball in my brain that goes back and forth, and I figured if we were moving on to establishing neos and what we were feeding them, I can
answer your question if you got a question. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. You didn't hurt my feelings. I'm good.
Before we even jump into establishing neos and we go more into detail, I guess take us into the breeding aspect. I'm curious. Prior to coming up into your season and this first season where you had 3 clutches, where did you, I guess like where did you source the information? How did you come to the conclusion that you were going to breed the way that you wanted to breed? What information were you finding that you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to try doing?
I did a lot of book reading, but I also had a great mentor. Garrett was my mentor from the very beginning, since I picked up a couple of snakes from him. He was there for me for any questions I ever had or anything, he was there to answer. So shout out to Garrett for always, helping me out and with anything. So, and it's crazy because I actually I wouldn't say known, but I guess, from the animals I bought these from him back in 2021. I've talked to that guy on the phone so many times and just met him this past, NARBC. So it was finally good to meet Garrick in person.
Right.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever met Garrick as well. I enjoyed.
You want to know what's funny is me and him passed each other. We said what's up and everything, like just in passing, but like I didn't expect that dude to have such a baby face. Like I had no clue that was Garrick, and I messaged him. I saw pictures. He saw a picture with me and Chuck and everything, and he was like, "Dude, that was you." And I was like, and then I saw a picture that he posted, and I was like, "That was you." We literally like passed by, like said kind of what's up to each other, but never got the opportunity to just like talk. And he reached out to me and he's like, dude, what happened? Like, what do we both kind of told each other that we thought the other was older. And just like didn't expect to like, I didn't realize that Garrick,
kind of just didn't recognize him right away.
No, I didn't. And just not even,
I picked him up from the hotel when we were going to Bill's, and when he came out, I was like, dude, you look different. Where's your beard? Don't you have a beard or
exactly.
something? And he was like, no. He was like, I've never had one. I was like, you look so different and young or something, you know?
Yeah, he does look young. He's young too. He's in his 20s, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only 25, dude.
Oh, shut the hell up. So he is young.
Yeah, he's very young.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, I'll have to catch him at Bill's next party. Shit. So mentorship for you was important?
I mean, yeah, he really helped me out, you know, especially going into something that I had no clue what I was doing, you know. I mean, this was a first time breeder kind of situation, but I did a lot of research, talked to a lot of different people. I wouldn't even say it was just Bill, you know. I mean, I talked to Chuck, I talked to Pat, Bill, I mean, a lot of the Texas people, Mark. I talked to a lot of people to kind of get information and different. I tried to stick a lot with the Texas people since my environment's a lot like what is up there, you know, in Dallas, and with Mark and Bill and Pat. So when I kind of had some questions as far as husbandry, or even with, you know, getting ready for cycling, I would reach out to those guys, you know, just because I knew that their environment was a lot like mine. So,
all right. Speaking of breeding, let's walk through the process, right? You're getting ready. What are you doing right now where you're second, you know,
right now, nothing. I won't start till next week, but I will.
What are you going to do next week? Like, so walk everybody through.
Start dropping temps and feeding. I'll drop 1 degree a week for about 4 to 5 weeks and feed once a week. But I'm gonna drop the meal size probably down by like 2 sizes. So I'll throw on probably just a large mouse or something kind of small.
Now, maybe. When you say, sorry to interrupt, but when you say drop in temps, so first question: do you night drop year round?
I night drop year round down to 78. So I'll start night dropping for cycling 1 degree per week.
And what's your ultimate bottom out? Like 73?
Last year I went to 74 only. That was my lowest I went, was 74.
So you night drop year round, but you also drop night temperatures for breeding
cycling.
Okay. Yes. And then walk us through now you're going to start feeding I smaller items a little bit more frequently.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are your females eating?
Right now they're either on I was feeding jumbo mice or winged rats, but I've noticed within the past year that those are really small now. You know, they're just kind of not as big as they used to be. So I may end up having to go to, I guess, a small rat next.
Yeah,
for the females. I mean, jumbo mice, they used to be really nice size. Now they're kind of like the size of a large mouse.
So you don't pack it on, per se, as opposed to other people.
I don't what?
You don't pack it on. You don't really give gigantic prey items because
Oh no, you mean throughout the year while feeding? No, not really. No.
Yeah, so just for example, I feed a medium rat every 3 weeks to my big female that just laid this clutch of hatched out 19 babies. At one point in my feeding records, I did not drop down the prey size on my females. I just increased the frequency when they were looking for it. And in a 4-week period, my big female ate 4 medium rats in a month.
Wow.
1 medium rat every single week, 4 weeks in a row.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm feeding my Aru female 1 small rat every 2 weeks. It leaves a decent sized lump in her, but I guess what I was planning to do was probably just drop it down to like an adult mouse, but do weekly.
Yeah, there's 1,000 ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did last year. It seemed to work. It seemed to work. So,
are you sure? I mean.
So, but yeah, down to 74, drop the prey size, maybe one size down, and weekly I feed them, separate to feed them every time though, because I don't trust them together. I'm scared something might
Oh
happen.
yeah, no, I agree with you there.
I separate the feed, let them chill for maybe 3 days at the most, and then I pair them back together.
And while you're increasing the frequency of the prey items, and in combination with dropping temperatures, are
Mhm.
you seeing your females from when you start cycling, starting to hug the cool side, and they hunt a little bit more and messing the puppy pad up at night, maybe stretching her legs a little bit?
Oh man, I mean, I can see at nighttime where she's more on the cool side. Yes, daytime she's still more, kind of center. But my females are always on the hot side, except for one. But I have noticed. I mean, as of right now, to be honest, all four of them are on the cool side right now. You know, but
Nice.
I won't
That's a
be.
good sign.
I mean, I'm not going to breed all four of those. I'm planning two this year. So we'll see how that goes. But
Nice.
I mean that it's not a complex, cycle. It's pretty simple, temp drop with some drop the mill size, but more frequently. And I do that actually until they refuse. When they refuse, I stop feeding
Right.
and I separate. And once I separate, actually once they refuse, I leave the male in there until I see an ovulation.
Now, what about introductions?
Daytime.
Okay, so walk us through it, because I specifically have
I,
my own little regimen.
I try usually after lunch when I know they're kind of already down for the night, I guess you would say, down for
Mm-hmm.
the day, whatever. I'll pair them then. I take both out. I'll take I put the male in the female's cage, but I take the female out of the cage as well and try to put them in together, I guess you could say, where they're both going in. I definitely keep an eye on them for a good while just to make sure the female don't mess up the male. Um, Once I start seeing him court her and it's not bothering her too much. She's not reacting, jumping around or anything like that. I'll, feel comfortable.
Right. And now, are
Um,
you misting them down? Are you waiting for some sort of a storm front to come in to start off your season?
I miss down. I missed them right before lights go out.
Yeah.
And I do,
Same.
I keep the same light cycle. Or actually, once they start breeding, I don't have a light cycle. I cut the lights completely off. They don't have no
Okay.
light. Won't have no light during the daytime. I found that they stay locked a lot longer if they don't have any light.
Yeah. I agree. They don't like that direct light. It makes them feel
Every time I
uncomfortable.
saw the light come on, I saw them separate. So
That's the first time that I've heard that, and that's really useful information.
I don't have cage lights in my breeder enclosures.
I have
Interesting.
cage lights and everything, but I just unplug them once I start breeding. I'm gonna unplug them and just leave it dark in there 24/7.
Is there a window in that room? What kind of ambient light you have coming in from the sides?
Just a window,
That's all
but
they
I
need.
have blind and a curtain on it as well, so I can close that and keep it dark in the room too.
And what's your ambient room temp?
Nighttime around 72, 73. Daytime, it gets up to around 77, I would say, just with all the heat that's in here. It's right here in the front of the house where the sun comes up, starts heating. Sun doesn't pass this front of the house till after 12 o'clock. So, but about 77 or so.
Okay. So ovulation happens. You're taking the male out. What's next? How, you're counting down the days to possibly 25 to get a post, or a prelay shed. What are you doing in preparation?
A preparation for prelay shed / egg deposition.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, not much, dude. I don't do much until after I see that she's gonna shed. Once she sheds, I'll kind of start preparing her egg box. It's a simple 12-quart tub with a hole cut on the top and some what is it, sphagnum moss, I believe is what it's called. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of sphagnum moss. Actually, I used sphagnum moss on my first clutch, and I didn't care for it too much because when she starts curling up and beehiving and stuff, she messes up everything, and I can't see if she's actually dropping her eggs yet, or if she's just preparing. So on the second and third clutch, I only put a towel.
Okay. Do you have a camera in the LA box at all, or are you just checking every day?
I actually have a camera mounted outside of the cages, but I just check every day. Yeah. So
And how was peeling you now? Okay, how was peeling them apart, or did you incubate in a clump?
Okay, clutch one, I tried to pull apart, but I figured out it felt like I was gonna rip these eggs. Like they were just so stretchy, and they seemed so fragile. So I pulled one apart. I got one away from the clump, and I incubated first clutch in a clump. So and as I told you, that one I lost a lot of eggs out of that one. So
Did you notice mold spreading?
No,
no,
it wouldn't
okay.
spread because I had eggs in the clump that stayed white all the way till, hatching time.
I'm happy that you say that. A lot of people worry that keeping them in a clump is going to, one moldy egg starts, it's going to spread and kill the entire clutch. And I really, really, really believe in the belief that a healthy embryo, a healthy egg is going to hatch and resist mold. I've kept clumps together, and I have eggs that are literally right in the middle of the clutch that are just disgusting. And I don't touch them. I don't do anything, and it doesn't impact any of the neighboring eggs.
I might still have pictures on my phone from where I took where, it was a clump and, you could see 2-3 eggs on this side that were molded and the bottom egg is still pearly white.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a disaster, but I still, incubated in a clump, lost a bunch, but still managed to hatch out a few out of there. So,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I truly do believe with the eggs, there's some sort of a coating that the cloaca gives them that gives it, the ability to fight mold, like mold inhibiting properties of that coating. And I really feel like when you separate them, at least me, when I separated them, when I did get eggs that were moldy, I did get it on the spots where they were contacted with another egg, where the peel marks are. And I think that kind of almost,
I think where that connects is just a lot thinner, I guess, calcified right there, because of the way it was connected somehow. It's just, and it's got to be a little moist, I would think, as well.
Isn't it weird when you pull them apart? They're like stringy. It's like fabric that you're pulling apart when you pull those eggs apart.
I'm gonna tell you this: on the second and third clutch, pulling those apart, I was a fucking professional, dude. It was a lot easier not being worried that you were gonna tear them. Just get in there, do the thing what you got to do, and they're gonna come apart.
It's like a weird little wiggle. You put your finger in the crease, and then I
didn't even do that. What I did, I used Garrick's method. I did it's kind of weird. It's like a twist and rotate kind of little thing, he said. It was weird, but it worked very, very easy, bro. Like just a little, and it came apart. I don't have to stick fingers in between them, pull them apart. It was easy.
It's easier to boil them first because they're a little bit harder, and then you can peel them apart.
I'm telling you, dude, they came apart very easy. I felt like a professional on the second and third class. Dude, pulling them apart. It's like, oh, I can do this shit easy.
I always just try to find that one angle, right? Like I'll mess around with it and I'll move it until I find the one angle that it starts to go. And then if it stops going, you just switch the angle, right?
Yeah.
You just switch the direction, it pops right off.
Yeah, but I slide my fingers down and adjust closer and closer to the crease.
Dude, I tried to do your method on when I first started, and it just felt like, I got nails, so I felt like I was gonna fucking puncture the egg or something, It was scary.
Now, how long after the female's coiled around the eggs do you wait to pull her off the eggs?
On the first one, I waited about an hour, I think. I think I spoke with Chuck about that on the first one. I waited about an hour. On the second and third, after I saw her head out, immediately I pulled them off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, immediately. Oh, shit.
Yeah, if I generally see the head up, I'm generally at least, and again, I'm working with retics here, but when I see that head up, I'm not watching them like I did my first couple years of breeding retics, and so whenever I just see the head up, I go ahead and pull them out.
Yeah. I spoke with Garrick about that after the first one. He told me the faster, the better. The sooner you get them out of there, the easier it is to get them apart.
Yeah, and also for me, it's just, and I don't know if it's the same with chondros, but I want to wait as little time as possible because I don't want that retic developing energy that they're going to, right? Like after they've depleted all that energy and laying is the best bet of pulling them out without getting struck at.
I would agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The longer that you give them, the more rest they have that little nap and snooze, and then they're able to kind of regain some energy back. And the more energy they have, the more likely they are to fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like being bit, so
especially with a retic, I would have,
yeah, you don't want to get bit by a retic. I also don't want to get bit by a corn snake. So,
what's your egg box looking like? Brand, substrate, how many holes? What's taped up?
The egg box, I'm in the incubator. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
It's those, goddamn, I don't even know the name. It's those clear ones.
Sim XLs.
Sim containers. Yeah, the Sim XLs. There's Sim containers. I got 4 holes drilled on each side. I'll leave one open on each side.
I'm going to get real specific.
Do the real incubation.
Do you know the drill bit diameter of the holes?
I think they're 3/16 if I'm not mistaken. They're very small holes.
Okay, and you said one on each side.
One on each side open until day 40, but then I incubate straight water.
And being as that you have open air holes on each side from the beginning of incubation, I'm just going to go ahead and guess that you do have a water pan and a humidified chamber.
Nope, I use a dry chamber.
Wow. Okay. Plot twist.
Dry. I actually tested the water pan on the in the chamber, and I was just getting way too much humidity, and it was just leaking out of the incubator, and I was constantly having to wipe the sides, wipe the floors, and some whatnot. So I did some tests. Man, I had my incubators almost a year before I even started breeding to test them and run them and get them right. But I did the water thing, didn't like it. I was getting the temps I needed, but I just didn't like water everywhere. The entire incubator was linked to water everywhere. So I did it without water and just stuck a bunch of water bottles in the incubator. And I get, the same temps, a lot lower humidity as far as in the chamber. Mm-hmm. But as long as I got the humidity correct in the egg box, I'm not worried about the humidity in the chamber too much.
And what is your incubation temps from the beginning, and then what are you doing on day 40 if you're dropping at all?
I did 87 through day 1 through 40, and then I drop it down to 85.
85. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what day are they hatching out on average?
I could tell you that. Let's see. My first clutch hatched on day 52, or started pipping on day 52, I guess you could say. Second clutch was... let's see, what day was this? I don't have a date on here.
I'm guessing they went a day or two longer because you were wiping a little bit more often.
Hold on 1 second.
Take your time.
So egg deposition was on... I guess the first Neo pipped on May 4th, and egg deposition was March 12th. So I don't even know how many fucking days that was. I didn't write day-wise on there.
Hold up, March 12th. 1, 2, 3, 4.
March 12th, and they first pip was May 4th. Was that 53?
53. Yeah, that's correct.
53 days. And then egg deposition on the last one was March 18th, and those pipped on May 7th. So that would be what, 53 as well, right?
No, that's day 50. You said the 18th to the 7th?
18th to the 7th, yeah.
18th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 49, and then 50 is May 7th is day 50, I believe.
Day 50, so those came out day 50. And I incubated all of them the exact same, 87 through day 40, and then dropped the temp on day 40 to 85.
So you're doing a straight 2-degree drop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't do that gradual either. I was 85, straight 87 to 85.
Are you opening any extra holes on day 40?
Opened all the holes on day 40.
And how many is that extra?
3 more on each side. So
on each
12.
side, all 8 will be open. So that'd be 6 extra, because I only keep one open on each side during incubation through day 40.
Okay.
Open all air holes after day 40.
Okay. This is what I hate about you chondro breeders. I can never get consistency.
Yeah, everybody does it different.
Fucks.
What do you do? Oh, we're about to get deeper. We're not out of the egg box yet. What are you doing for pipping? First one pips. Are you waiting? Are you cutting? What are you doing?
I wait for the first one to pip, and I give it about 5 hours, and then I cut all the rest.
Do you pull them out like Jay Brewer does, or?
Hold on. We're not done yet. What style cut? Are you an L, a V, or are you taking that real thin slice all over the top?
I try to do a V.
Okay.
I try to do a V. That way you
scary.
What are you guys talking about? V's and what?
Just I guess the cut of the egg,
cut of the egg.
You want to cut like a straight line or a V. I like the V so you can open the flap and kind of,
it can seal.
And then you can flap it right back over. If you cut a straight line, I feel when you kind of squeeze the egg to open it, a lot of the stuff comes out that way. I tried the line at first, and I found out that cutting the V and open the flap, you don't really got to squeeze the egg to kind of, look in when it's only a slit.
Yeah, but bro, you got the plunge. That you can't uncut what you cut.
Yeah.
So it's like you put it in, and then I make the bottom blade press up against that freaking eggshell and make sure I don't have like a tail stuck in it.
Yeah, you pick up the egg a little.
It's so nerve-wracking. You got to grab your balls and just cut it.
This is where you freaking chondro breeders are paranoid as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you're going to be shaking when you're cutting.
I know I am because of you guys.
You're going to be cutting a jelly bean with a pair of scissors. You're going to be fucking real upset. It's not fun. Yeah, have like 4 beers before you start cutting shit.
No,
you got to get...
Be sober, dude. Be sober.
I gotta, how far are we in? I got to make sure I sent this to my uncle. As Uncle Bubba would say, you got to have a couple beers to get the whips and jingles out.
But I waited for the first pip, and then I cut the rest 4 hours. Some actually took 7 or 8 hours later, just because I had other shit or something was going on. But usually about after 5 hours, I'll cut the rest open.
So first pip, you're cutting the eggs. Is that when you are converting the egg box into now a hatch box? What are you doing conversion for them to come out?
Once I see the first one pip, yes, I get, I obviously pre-prepare the, I guess whatever you just called it,
Yeah, hatch box. What the hatch box, you're converting it.
All I did was throw some paper, really, really wet paper towel on the bottom. I had the light grating, the ceiling light grating, cut the piece out to fit in there. Put the eggs on top of that.
Okay.
And once they start coming out, I'll put a small little bowl of water in there as well.
And a perch?
A perch, yes, obviously a perch up in there.
And I was going to get even more specific here. Yeah, to get more specific, how are you misting down the ones that have emerged, but then also having a little courtesy to not disturb the ones that haven't even poked their little heads out yet? Are you covering them with a deli cup, misting them down? That's what I do is I throw a deli cup upside down over the eggs that haven't hatched, soak the tub and the babies, and then pull the deli cup off. Sometimes I'll spray the egg, but I don't want to.
I kind of did the exact same thing. I remember speaking to you about it
Mhm.
and did the exact same thing. Kind of just put something over the eggs so they don't get wet. I mean, even though they're cut open and, ain't nothing going to happen to them. But yeah, I don't want to get the eggs.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, you guys are tripping me out right now.
It's listen, now I could say like I don't want to say it's not as hard as everybody says. However, it's that attention to detail. It's the dedication. It's not the skill level. Anybody can do it.
I mean, I paired 3 last year, not thinking all 3 were going to go, hoping to get 1,
It's easy to get eggs. I mean, I hate to say that out loud, but it's not super hard. How about that? It's not extremely hard or impossible to get eggs out of green tree pythons. But when you're in charge of incubating the eggs, that's when you better have your ducks in a line. You're gonna screw it up. That's where everybody screws up.
Like Bill said, man, as long as your temps are consistent, because I know people that incubate at 88. Mark was incubating, I believe, at 86 and a half or something. I mean, everybody got different temperatures. Like Bill said, as long as your temp is consistent, I think you won't have a problem.
Yeah, but you say that now, being an experienced breeder with 3 clutches.
I'm not experienced, dude.
Yes, you are. And listen, you've done well.
I've done one season, man.
Right. I agree with Lupe. I feel like you do 1 season, you have bred them. You do 2, you're now a breeder.
I agree.
But it is as simple as we can make it sound, right? Because of how much knowledge we have crammed into our brains. If you go to chapter 1 of breeding and you skip over keeping the babies wet enough, their skin is going to get glued to the inside of the eggshell and they're going to die. A simple oversight you can lose your entire clutch.
I mean, but
as you're about to slide into home plate.
You're not spraying the ones that are in the eggs anyways,
No, but keep the humidity up in the enclosure enough. Like when they're all still in the eggs, you still I spray down the lid, and then I'll shield them with a paper towel.
What I was doing when I had babies in the hatch box already with some still in the eggs, I would just spray around the side, just kind of, spray around the side. I mean, the bottom was pretty wet already. I poured a lot of water and had that grating, so it was pretty humid in the box still. But
so, the attention to detail to give them the attention to detail to how you're spraying them isn't the hard part. It's the crucial part is remembering that you have to keep them really moist. Yeah, because some really good breeders made that mistake their first clutch, and they got and babies died in the eggs, and it's like a very important step. Like you cannot not keep them.
How has this not come up in any other podcast interview that we've done? I'm hearing this shit for the first time.
It's just flipping out over it,
bro. I'm like a real thing. But it's such a simple step anymore. It's like, okay, don't dry them out, just spray them down. But it's like you have so much in your brain. It's like when you go back to chapter 1, you're like, oh shit, like I didn't know that in the beginning. Therefore, most of the people, or some of the people listening have never done it, and they're like, "Aha!" That's an aha moment for them. When for me at that time, it was an aha moment to make sure that they were definitely saturated. I didn't have that mistake because I had mentors, that made sure I didn't.
Were you saturating the snake directly?
I have sprayed the eggs. I did on my first clutch.
No, not the eggs. The ones that were hatched out, perched already. Were you spraying those directly as well?
Yes. Yeah. But my water in my spray bottle is boiling hot, like my hot water heater is cranked up so that I can take longer hot showers, and the water coming out is hot as hell. But by the time, put your hand in front of it or shut up, Lucas, or get a thermal imaging camera and spray that water and see what the cloud is, dude. That I don't care if that
I was waiting for this gun to come up today.
Has it came up every episode?
Every fucking episode.
Every single one. But
That's hilarious.
it's very important. Even just put your hand in front
We
of
need
it.
to do a raffle and give one of those away, man. Come
No
on.
shit, man. And if I don't win, screw you.
Dude, if Teledyne FLIR sponsors this show, I want a thermal imaging camera for the front of the helicopter I'm going to buy.
Oh man.
But it's the truth. Put your hand in front. Get the hottest water you can possibly imagine. This is a fact. Hottest water. Put it in a spray bottle. Hold your hand about 12 to 18 inches from that spray bottle, the distance a snake would be, and spray your hand. Guarantee you it don't feel hot. If anything, it's going to feel cool. And if it feels cool in the temperature of your skin, me just with my redneck theory, 96 degrees, 98 degrees is what our bodies are. So if something feels cold to us, it's got to be under that.
Get your thermal gun right now and temp your hand. I bet it's 92.
Do I have it?
I guarantee your hand is.
I used room temperature to spray when I was spraying the Neos in the hatch box.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just coming out colder than the water I'm spraying on mine. I just want to reduce the shock. They're tiny, bro. They're 10 grams.
I mean, see, that was the thing too. I never really tried to spray the snakes directly. I tried to just keep the egg or the hatch box nice and wet. You know, I would give the Neos a quick spray, but I would never saturate them or spray them every single day. I would just spray them maybe, you know, once every other day, just to, you know, never nothing like that.
Okay, let's get even deeper and geekier. What type of spray bottle are you using?
Oh, shit.
Because my spray bottle has a super fine mist. Barrett, my dog's pushing my microphone. Sorry. Okay. So
it's just a pump spray bottle. You just pump
I use the same one Chuck does, but I got the bigger one.
So my spray bottle has a super, super fine misting tip, and it's a rechargeable battery operated, so it's continuous.
Oh shit, my shit ain't battery. It's just manual. You just pump it, man.
So I click the trigger in the shower after I fill it up with super hot water to clear the room temperature water that's in the tube.
Okay, let me ask you, what do you believe that the purpose of this or spraying hot water at them is better? What are you getting out of that?
Less cold shock, because those Neos that are in a 85 degree, depending on if you're dropping 83 to 85 degree ambient temperature tub, you're now spraying them with room temperature water that's already 70 or 72. It's coming out colder than that. And then they have the room air, which is probably 70 and 72. I feel like there's some sort of a cold shock, and using the egg box we're using, how long is it taking that?
I mean, that'd be the same thing if they're in the rack, you know, when they're in the rack, they're 85 degrees, you know, you go in there to spray them. It's the same thing.
No, he uses hot water all the time.
No. So the back of the rack has a heated wall. The egg box is only heated by the ambient air floating around it. How long does it take that air to get back into that box, to go back from the ambient air temperature that you had them and that you sealed them in with cold water in the 70 degrees or 72 degrees? How long is the 85 degree air warming that tub back up to what it was before you cracked the lid?
This is what
I don't
this guy
think it
loses
matters
sleep
as much
over this.
so after when they're out of the egg already, you know, as it matters when they're in the egg, to be honest.
I don't think it's that important either. It's just what I do. But I like the tub argument was the heated wall. They can go hug that wall and sit up against 85 and get back up to temp quicker.
Yeah,
I'm psychotic. I have an issue. I have a serious.
I wouldn't say psychotic. You're definitely neurotic, though.
Yeah, I've just attention to detail. I don't know. I found what works, and I don't want to deviate from it. I will make fine tweaks if I find something that doesn't quite work for me conveniently, but yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting thought and theory. I mean, I get it. It's
you can tell me as a therapist that you are concerned. Like, it's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
I haven't been there yet. We're not there yet. No, I think it's paying attention to detail. And at the end of the day, what it really matters is you're trying to just provide these animals with the least amount of distress as possible, right? So at the end, if at the end of the day, what you are doing is going towards just like what you think is going to be the best for that animal's health and well-being, then it doesn't matter as long as you're not killing them.
Yeah, 130 degrees about when my water comes out of my tap hot. if I take 130-degree water and it cools down to like the mid 80s when I spray it on them, that's exactly what I want to achieve. When if I take a 70-degree water and then mist them with it, how much colder is that going to be? It's got to be at least, I mean, low-wise 60 degrees. That's cold. That's cold for that animal. And how long does it take that ambient temp in the chamber to get that box back up so that those animals can get back up to that, like what you want to achieve if you're not running night drop in your incubator around 82 ambient?
I see what you're saying, but I don't think a little bit of droplets of water are lowering their actual body temperature that much to that degree of the water. You know what I mean? Let's say I'm spraying it with 72-degree room temperature. I don't think their body temperature is dropping down to 72 just with some water on it, you know?
If you hose them down enough, I think that there's some sort of a temp drop, because think about it. If you get out of the shower and you go outside and you get hit by the wind, you're cold, right? But you're warm-blooded. So what if that cold-blooded animal that can't regulate its own temperature, that only relies on the husbandry that it's inside to warm back up? How long is that air taken to warm the air up in the egg box?
I just don't think their body temperature is dropping that much, though, to give them cold shock, I guess you're saying, you know? Where spraying them with a little bit of room temperature water.
I feel like Chuck's the person that doesn't like to dip his toe in the pool much.
That's it. I'm fucking tying. I'm tying a temperature sensor to one of my babies. That's it. We're gonna sell this right now.
Chuck, I'm following, and I
go
agree.
One right now with the gun. Go grab some room temperature water, spray it, and then tell me its temperature again.
No, I mean, I'm following.
I will spray room temperature water and hot water on the wall, and then see what the temperature.
No, you need to do it on the snake, because you want to know if the snake's body temperature is dropping that drastically.
He's not taking that. He's not taking that risk, though.
I'll give it a shot.
I mean, I'm genuinely curious. I would like for you to do that, Chuck. Only because I'm interested. But like, I'm following with your logic. I'm following with the theory. It all makes sense to me. You know, I'd be curious to see how many people are using room temperature water and are seeing adverse effects from it as well, though.
I mean, but yeah, that's another thing. You're talking about only when they're inside the incubator just after hatching, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so
now the other snakes I still spray them with hot water. I just do.
I'm retitling this episode.
Why? You can do it. It's not that hard.
No, just because this is a great conversation. I think there's a lot to consider. Like I said, I think Chuck's got some valid points.
I see Chuck's point, you know, as far as when they're in the incubator still and their body temperature dropping, you know, but I don't think it would drop that drastically with just some room temperature water. But then again, like I told you, I don't spray my Neos directly when they're in the hatch tub. I spray kind of just around the tub. Maybe give them a small mist, you know, but I don't believe that little mist with those water droplets are going to change his body temperature to give him cold shock.
When they're all out of the egg, I hose them directly.
Dude,
like when they're a California wildfire.
What is that, 2019 when we had that freeze here in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
We lost
2020.
power. 2020 when we had that freeze here in Texas and we lost power. I think I was out of power for like 3 days. I temped some of my snakes and they were down in the 40s, bro. My snakes' body temperatures were down in the 40s.
Yeah, I rushed to Lowe's and grabbed the last generator off the shelf, driving in freaking 6 inches of snow. None of us know how to do that shit here in San Antonio. I saw cars that were like slammed up against the bridge as I was going over. I felt like I was in like The Walking Dead. There were just cars abandoned as I was driving to Lowe's, and I was like, shit, is Lowe's going to be open? Thank God it was open, because my house got down to 40 degrees.
Bro, you guys got me dying. You guys got me dying.
A lot of my snakes were. He's used to this shit, you know.
Yeah, it gets 10 degrees here. We lose power for 2 weeks.
This is not a joke. I upgraded my kid's Power Wheels car to some other like crazy company because I bought them a 4-wheel drive car so they can get through the snow.
Oh my god!
They got a 4-wheel drive electric Power Wheels with a leather interior. Might I add?
We don't even get snow. We just get cold and we freak out.
Exactly. Oh man,
nah, man. Everything on my property is 4-wheel drive. They don't plow our road, and my My
No,
driveway's like
but these
40 yards long.
you'll be surprised at how much cold their their body temperature can, or their bodies can take, opposed to heat. Heat will kill these animals way quicker than cold.
I couldn't have said it better myself. You're 100% correct.
I
Yeah.
want
100%.
when their bodies were in their 40 degrees, I was really, really worried about them. They were just stiff. They would not move, dude. They would just still for like 3-4 days until I finally got some power and they got warmed back up.
Probably tightly coiled, reserving whatever heat they
Exactly.
had available or left.
Yep,
And
exactly.
I was really worried about them, but shit, now I know that they can handle that cold a lot more than what I thought they could.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. After you've gone through methods of spraying them with room temp water and they're all out, at what point are you putting them into the 6-quart tub?
I would say about 7 to 8 days after everyone has definitely came out the eggs, perched up, and about 7 days, about a week, I would say I start separating them, putting them in their own tubs. Now, when I first put them in their individual tubs for the first shed, they are over water substrate, straight water.
And then they shed that first time, and then you're putting what?
A napkin,
Okay.
a dry napkin.
You
Go
know
back
what's
to dry napkins. I don't even dampen the napkin at all.
When you pull it before their first sheds?
after.
Okay. Before their first sheds, I'm guessing heavily saturated paper towel in each individual tub until they shed out.
I do straight water.
Okay.
For the first shed.
How often are you changing that out? When are you getting the baby shit, the green tar stuff you'd get out of an infant?
I mean, as soon as I saw that stuff, dude, I was, changing it out. So it was pretty much every day, every other day, I was having to change out that little bit of water.
Yeah, that's the most fun part I got. Green trees.
I mean, that's why I kind of was keeping them over water even after their first shed until I spoke with some people. And then, Garrick was like, dude, go back to regular conditions. You don't need overwater anymore. They're already done with their first shed. Go back to normal conditions. So I went back to just a paper towel.
Now, how often are you missing those babies after their first shed if you're keeping them over a dry paper towel?
Only when they go through shed.
Wow. Okay. Are you sliding? So, do you ever see those ID tags that nurses have and stuff with a little clip? I have those thin, clear plastic ID tags, and I slide them under the front of all my tubs to actually seal it like completely against the tub. Because if you get a tub from anybody that built it by hand and it's not on a CNC machine, you will have some inconsistencies where some tubs have like, I don't know. I don't want to say the saying, but a C hair. You got a C hair there as like, you got to seal it up with that little card.
So you're asking me if I seal it while they're in shed?
Yeah, I know Socrates uses little pieces of cardboard. I use the plastic cards.
I mean, I have holes drilled in each one of the Neo tubs as well.
Okay, so I have 0 holes, and
yeah, I don't have holes in mine. 6 quarts that I keep Chondros in.
I have holes in all my 6-quart tubs. I put 2 holes in each side, meaning the front and back, and I think I got like 3 holes on the side. So even if I was to put a card underneath to seal it, there's holes everywhere in them.
Do you have an ambient temp reading in your room?
Me?
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, not ambient temp, but ambient humidity?
Yes.
Like what's your room humidity at?
Man, I had a little sensor, but it just went out 2 days ago. But if I had to guess, my room humidity is probably right around like 60, maybe.
That's pretty high. Yeah, because typically it's like 40, 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas is pretty humid, man, especially here in Houston, So
Houston gets humid. San Antonio has humid times of the year. As you get further north, it gets a little more drier further west. But yeah, I mean, my garage setup, I have a humidifier, dehumidifier, so it's constantly 60 to 75% humidity in my room, which is why I don't spray much.
Yeah, I don't spray much. Only when they're in shed. Same for Neo, same for adults.
My Aru was just in shed, and I realized I saw it in shed and didn't think anything of it. And, it went through the shed process, and I only sprayed it once, and it just shed. I just looked at the camera not too long ago. It was a perfect shed. So I really need minimal spraying.
Yeah, I mean, there's some adults that I didn't even know I guess we're going into a shed, just wasn't paying attention, and come in here one day and it's a perfect shed, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know you were in shed, and didn't spray not one time, and they don't have a problem giving a full perfect shed.
Yeah, I typically don't notice with my long-term captive Arus until both of them get that big swollen head.
I mean, for the most part, I can tell when they start going opaque and whatnot, but there's a few times I missed it, So.
Right. So you got them there. They're now over paper towel. It's dry. You got your holes drilled and everything. What time frame are you looking at offering their first meal?
Actually, I did all 3 clutches. I did right after their first shed, maybe like a day after their first shed. I tried to offer.
Okay.
Some took, some didn't.
Yeah, and I know that you said you offer, pinky chick downs, and then the ones that you have to assist feed, you go straight into chicken gizzards.
Correct.
Okay.
I got a question, because this is something that I think me and Tucker are really the only ones that speak out about it, and a lot of other people don't agree with this. But have you noticed? Actually, I'm sorry, Alex Warren also agreed with me. Have you noticed that after like the 3rd shed, 4th shed, some of the really consistent feeders after a shed, they just forget how to be a neo again, and then you got to like reestablish them. They just like don't eat. Have you ever had that happen with your neos? Because I found that with the last 2 clutches, and then I'm sure I'm going to have it with this clutch because they have Aru blood in them.
I mean, I didn't give the first meal till after the first shed, except for one neo. One neo came out with his umbilical tied around him and still his yolk sac attached. And that's the only neo I attempted to feed before its first shed. Now, after their first shed, damn, I forgot the question you asked.
So for example, my Maniac clutch, every single one in half of a second took their first meals like beasts. And then one by one, after their second, 3rd sheds, they just got dumb and they would not feed.
No, I didn't have that problem. I did just have a problem where they ate like the first meal. They took the first meal, and then trying to go to the second, they just wouldn't take the second anymore. They just kind of didn't want it, But now it didn't happen after the second shed or 3rd shed. It just kind of happened after the first meal where, some of them just didn't want to eat no more. Where you thought like, all right, I got this one to eat, it's going to be good. And then go try to feed it the second time. And it just wants nothing to do with food.
Just weird, right? And then you're assisting those, and you're like, you dumbass, you know how to do it.
I out of the, I would say a handful that probably did that. I think I only assisted one, and the other ones I gave them 2 weeks off or so, and then they got back on.
That's weird, though.
It's not, and it doesn't happen to all of them. It's only a couple, but it happens. Like it's it's like when they shed. Well, you said it's not when they shed, but for me, like it's when they shed, right. They forget everything. It's like dumb. So what I've been doing is this is one of my stupid ass things that I'm going to say out loud, and everyone's going to be like, I'm crazy. But I just thought, okay, a blue claw crab, when it sheds its shell, is a soft shell crab. It's a vulnerable animal. It needs its shell to dry out, to harden, to feel safe again. What if there's something to these neos when they do shed? Does their skin need to cure? Is there something about a fresh shed that makes their scales a little bit more sensitive or something? Are they did they feel a little bit more vulnerable? So I've been giving them 2, 3, 4 days after their sheds, and I had a little bit more success. Like with the first sheds, with the second clutch, I just waited like 4 days until they all did it, and they all fucking took it right away. So I'm going to do that with this clutch. When they shed, I'm going to wait 2 to 4 days and see if maybe there's something to that. I mean, it's a crazy freaking philosophy, and I'll never get enough evidence to make it a study.
I don't know about your soft scales needing to harden and whatnot, but I mean, it could be something there.
Bro, it's
spray them down with boiling water and feed them 4 days after they shed.
Dude, the thing is that he's saying this shit, and I'm thinking in my head, like, no, it's a snake, not a crab. But then he starts explaining the rationale, and I'm like, damn, but maybe that makes sense. Like, it just, I imagine Chuck just like lays his head down in bed and he's like, maybe they're like soft shell crabs.
Yeah, it's like that meme. It's like that meme where the girl's sitting next to her husband in bed, and she's like, I bet he's thinking about other girls.
Yeah,
I'm like, do you think their scales dry out after they show?
That's hilarious.
Oh man,
you think, dude? You think it's bad trying to figure me out, Lucas? Try being married to me and living with me,
bro.
God bless Jill.
Dude, I give her props.
You met my wife. She's a fucking savage.
She's great. I cannot wait to see her again.
She's hilarious. She's a character. She don't care about nothing.
No,
and she will tell you to your face that you're messed up.
Anybody who got to be a part of talking to Jill and Chuck when we were at Bill's, it probably there's no such thing as a better time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, again, it's like I hear what you're saying and I'm like, no, but then I also can't argue with the logic that you're using. So like, I don't know how to feel.
I got to be right on one of these things, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man,
everyone's going to be, dude, all of our sponsors are dropping us tomorrow. They're like, that guy's friggin' delusional. He's a drug addict. He's a drunk. He's crazy.
No, when you said crab shells, I was like, I know this fool did not try to feed his shit some crab.
Dude, my brain went there too. I was like, don't tell me you offered your snakes a blue crab, man.
Yeah, coconut crabs. That's a new feeder item.
I was gonna be like, and it took it right.
Because anything but a pinky they'll eat. Oh man. Let's see, Chuck. We just went through
a lot of messed up shit.
We went through feeding trials and all that good stuff. I'm wondering, do we have anything else that we need to touch on the breeding aspect?
Nah, I think I've pissed our listeners off enough.
Oh man,
I just ruined somebody's morning drive to work.
He turned it off right then. He's like, God damn.
Yeah, he's like, what an asshole. Crabs, Chuck.
Lupe, I want to give you an opportunity. Do you mind? So first and foremost, I want to thank you for coming on. I also want to congratulate you on an amazing first season, and
thank you so much.
Only wish you even more success with the upcoming seasons. Obviously, the more clutches you have, the more you spend feeding. So I know that you got your work cut out for you as you have animals growing up. I'll be keeping an eye on your page. I'll be hitting you up. You got some phenomenal animals that you produced. So again, congrats on that. And thank you so much for coming on. Do you mind giving our listeners where they can find you on any of your social medias? I know I got your Instagram pulled up, but anywhere else that you want to throw a plug in?
I mean, I'm only on Instagram and Facebook. My Facebook's connected to my IG, but I believe my Facebook is GSJ Chondros, because I couldn't figure out a way to change the name. But Facebook, GSJ Chondros, IG would be Space City Chondros.
All right. Awesome. Like I said, man, I don't think that many people can say that they have been able to go 3 for 3 on their first year. It's a pretty impressive feat. I'm looking forward to your second season. And yeah, man, I hope you, keep us posted on the development of those hatchlings. Chuck, you got anything else for Lupe before we kick him out?
Yeah, I do. Lupe, I love you as a friend, bro. I really do value our friendship. I love talking to you every day, texting you. You're a good dude. I'm gonna try to keep the curse words down, but you're a good dude, man. I love having you as a friend. I really do. I truly do value knowing you and hanging out with you. And you hooked me up at Bill's house. I appreciate that. I had a good time. So thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for canceling your duck hunting trip and all that stuff. And I truly do would say that your first year you didn't breed green tree pythons. You turned into a green tree python breeder, and that's from the heart. I don't make statements like that lightly. I truly do think you know exactly what you're doing. You got awesome animals. Your keeping techniques are great. You're just a good person all the way around. I think you're just you're one of the cinder blocks laying the foundation for the chondro community that's growing so quickly. I think you're here to stay, and I love having you around, man. I love being your friend. I love when you text me, call me. I truly do enjoy
I appreciate being on the show. Thanks to everybody who's watching or who's gonna watch, and yeah, just stay connected to the page, and I'll definitely keep posting stuff and keep everybody updated on these Neos. So hopefully I have as much success in this next coming season that I did in the first season.
Yep. Shout out to Texas Chondro breeders, man.
And there's a lot of them, dude. It's crazy, man. Just here in Houston area, I mean, and there's me, there's Steven Saltman, there's Ruben, there's his Gulf Coast Chondros. I mean,
Texas is killing it right now, and you just put Texas even more on the map with the clutches that you did, dude.
Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Later, man. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Later, brother.
Thank you for having me on the show, man.
All right, Chuck, man, good episode. I love talking to people that are getting into this. Again, I think I learned the most from people that are a few steps ahead of me. It's awesome to see someone who just gave it a whirl right away and landed the success with it. Guys, for those of you that are still watching, appreciate you for tuning into episode 11. Dude, 11 episodes, that is 22 weeks of the Chondro Lounge. We're at that half a year mark. I couldn't believe it when I was looking at how far back the episodes on the Reptile Lounge network go. We're cruising along, man.
Yeah, we're doing well. And I mean, I think I said this in the last episode is, it wouldn't have been such a long decision if I knew what it would turn into. This is awesome. Like I'm living the dream right now. Like I didn't think I was ever going to show my face again on YouTube and do the podcast thing. And I thought it wasn't for me. But the way we do the pre-recorded episodes, it works around our schedule. I mean, right now it's 1:02 in the morning here, and I have work tomorrow. But I don't not want to come on here. Like I could have just said I'm going to bed tonight, but I didn't want to. Like it's just awesome. Like
it's a good time,
dude. Going to Bill's party, I mean, unbelievable. People coming up to me and just nothing but positive feedback for the show. And then thank God to our sponsors. And it's so much. I had somebody reach out and said, I'm not going to say the particulars because it's sappy and dumb, but it just basically gave me some really kind words. With what I'm doing, that follow me really closely, want to model themselves after, I guess, what I'm doing, which is, I think, a little bit unique and not like what everyone else is doing in a bad way. Honestly, I think,
right.
I don't have a single designer. I'm just taking, imports and doing my own thing and just really enjoying what I'm doing. But I just really do appreciate everyone that tunes in and listens. Like, it's cool. Like for people like to freaking reach out to me or see me like, hey, Chuck, what's going on? I'm like, man, I don't want to be rude, but who are you? And they'll like bring up the Instagram page, like, oh yeah, I follow you, but you don't follow me back. I'm like, dude, I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. Like, let me follow you back. Like, let's be friends. It's pretty neat. It's a lot of people coming up to you and recognizing you, and it's freaking awesome, dude. I'd love this shit.
It's been a great time, and speaking of sponsorships, I just want to give you guys a heads up over the next couple of weeks as we make an advertisement. We are going to have a new sponsor that's going to be joining us, and that is Heartland Reptiles with Heartland Enclosures. We met with Jordan over at NARBC. He's got some phenomenal, great chondro enclosures that he's producing now. It's the same material that he's making his retake enclosures. They are bulletproof. They are lifelong enclosures. You buy one enclosure for your animal, and that enclosure is by far going to outlive that animal. I got a couple in my garage right now. Chuck's got his probably coming on the way in a bit. We got to make sure that we get you connected with that. They are great enclosures. I got mine getting set up right now and gonna put some chondros in there, but it's really cool to see him take what he did for the larger constrictor, scale it down for the chondro community. And shout out to Mark Hager at Texas Chondros. He just snagged up a bunch of those enclosures, was a big part of the design of the chondro enclosures that Heartland Reptile produces. I got Mark and Jordan connected, and they talked over weeks and weeks and weeks designing these enclosures, and they came out phenomenal. So I'm excited to get some Chondros in there, take some pictures, show you guys their nice enclosures. Chuck, you got anything else?
I want to give a shout out to Adler. I don't think I've ever actually given a shout out to Adler, but our background image is, I love it. I love the aesthetics of it. What he does with photos and so quickly with the turnaround stuff like that, he kills it. You guys need any logos made, if you need some sort of, commercials, production done, backgrounds for your podcast, you got to reach out to AE Foundry. Adler's killing it. He's passionate. He walks around the party with a camera around his neck, and all he's doing is snapping photo. I'm like, bro, put the camera down and have a beer with me. What are you doing? Right. He's like, I'm working, and he's getting angles. He's doing barrel rolls through friggin' bushes and shit, snapping upside down photos. He's killing it, man. I love Adler, and AE Foundry is where it's at. If you guys need something made up for really reasonable prices and just unbelievable professional service.
Yep, absolutely. You guys, we'll see you in a couple weeks on episode 12. You guys have a good night.
Y'all take care.
Or morning or day, whenever the hell you're listening to this.